How is it going? And thank you for tuning in this video. As you all can tell by the title below, today I'll be giving you all my live review of attending WWE WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas, as well as, discussing the things I did while I was there for almost the entire week, like going to WWE World and the Superstore and whatnot. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and jump right into this video where my WrestleMania week actually started that Monday, the 13th, by attending Monday Night Raw that Monday. Went to the show, and, I won't go over the entire show. I'll just briefly go over it, but of course I did get some stuff in the merch stand, which I will tell a little story. While in the merch stand, we're probably about 20 people away from the front. We weren't very far off from the front at all. As we're standing there, Audrey and I get notifications on our phone from Fanatics, because obviously we're trying to keep up with all the meet and greets for that weekend, so we had notifications turned on. And we got notification that none other than John Cena would be attending WWE World this year, being a very late edition, attending that Saturday. And I looked at it, and, I had it in my cart, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. And then after, a little bit of convincing from Audrey and me just thinking about it, I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it. So I bought my ticket to meet John Cena in line for merch. So of course, I'll be going over that experience, meeting him later on in the video once I get to that point in the week. But yeah, did it right then and there, because honestly, I thought about it so much last year, because I had him in my cart like 3 or 4 times last year when he had the WWE World appearance, but I told myself, no, I'm not going to do it, because I was convincing myself that Fan Expo, they do a bunch of conventions, and they did one in San Francisco. I was hoping he was going to be there that year last year, but he wasn't, because it takes place on Thanksgiving weekend, and Survivor Series on the same day as the convention, so it just wasn't going to happen. But that was kind of the reason why I skipped out last year. And honestly, I was trying to hang on to that same hope for this year, because I was telling myself, you know what, I can meet him way cheaper and, get an autograph and a photo for less than what Fanatics and WWE is charging for a photo. So I was trying to convince myself, but you know what? I said, screw it. I did it. And you know what? Hey, it worked out, because guess what? The next day on Tuesday, Fan Expo actually announced that they're canceling San Francisco this year due to lack of commitments and whatnot. So it actually worked in my favor that I pulled the trigger on it. So I'm very happy that I did, because you saw it very quickly afterwards. So yeah, in line for merch, I ended up buying my John Cena ticket for WWE World. But going into the merch I got at the merch stand, I only got 2 things. I was originally planning on buying one, but I saw the other thing. I was like, you know what? I might as well get that. But of course, the first thing I got was the CM Punk theme shirt for the venue. Of course, you have the purple colors on the front for the Kings, and then of course on the back you got Sacramento is the best in the world. So always love any type of shirts like this where it has the the theme of the venue or the place it's at with a wrestler. Always like to get them, especially for wrestlers I enjoy. So they've been doing it with Cody Rhodes, and they've been doing it with CM Punk now. So that was the first thing I got. And the second item, honestly, I just saw it. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get it, because obviously it's kind of the same thing as the CM Punk shirt. It's the, Sacramento Kings theme. And it's the John Cena WrestleMania 41, real ass champion shirt that came out, of course, in purple Kings color, which I'll be honest, looking at it now, it looks more so like Lakers color just because of the gold and everything, but I just saw that as a Sacramento theme and with the purple and everything, so that's the main reason why I got it. So those were the 2 shirts I did get at Raw, which I actually did end up going to the merch stand back later on during the Charlotte and Lyra Valkyria match, which it sounded like a great match. I didn't see any of it, because I went to the merch stand to get the CM Punk 11x14 autograph, but for some reason they didn't have the merch stands at first. They added them late, so I had to go grab one for Audrey. But of course, there's only like 10 people in front of me, and there was 2 people that took fucking forever. One guy literally was like, oh, can I see that? Oh, I don't want that. Can I see that? Actually, I don't want that. Can I see that? Actually, I don't want that. I'm like, dude, really? You don't know what you want? And then other guy, of course, was FaceTiming somebody, asking what they want. I'm like, bro, you couldn't have like took a picture and sent it to him, like, what do you want? Just it's inconsiderate people. I should have been through that line in like 5 minutes, but I literally sat there for 10-15 minutes because of those 2 people. But it is what it is. In terms of Raw itself, I had a great time. It was really enjoyable. The show was fun. Kairi Sane, beating Io was a big shock, especially considering the fact that they just released her. Very shocking for her to get released. But yeah, that was a great match. Like I said, I didn't see the Charlotte and Lyra match because I was in line for the merch. The segments were good. I really liked the CM Punk and Roman Reigns segment at the end. So in terms of Raw, quick thoughts. I thought it was a really enjoyable show. I had fun with it. The tag match at the end as well was very enjoyable. So I mean, it wasn't like a huge, strong go-home show. Like nothing really happened. Made me want to like very excited for WrestleMania, but it is what it is. I thought it was still enjoyable nonetheless. And now we fast forward to Thursday, which is the start of my Vegas trip. I had a flight in the afternoon. I think my flight left at 2:20, but left a little bit late. Because you know how flights are, like, oh, they'll say the flight is actually departing earlier, but then it'll go back to like the default time, whereas when it's supposed to leave, and then end up being, 10 minutes late on top of that. So that's just my luck with flights. Have been lately. They kind of been experiencing stuff like that, but there was no issues. We got there on time. The original time was to be there, which I think was 3:45 or 3:55, right before 4 o'clock. That's when we're supposed to land there. We get there, and of course, we literally have to wait 10 to 15 minutes to get off because they were having issues, I guess, connecting the gate to the plane or the little walkway you go through. I don't know what the issue was. They were having some kind of problem putting it up, I guess. So that literally took 10, 15 minutes for that. And then, we got off the plane. Thankfully, we made our way to the pickup section where we got an Uber, which took another 25 minutes, I want to say, due to traffic and just because of how packed obviously it was. I will say, I forgot to mention, walking through the airport when we're, trying to get, we got our bags at the baggage claim. Brody King did walk right by me, which I thought was hilarious. And he was first of many wrestlers I've seen walk around Vegas throughout the week. So it was a sign of things to come. But yeah, like I said, we made our way to get our Uber, got our ride, and went to our hotel, which this year I stayed at the Luxor. To be completely honest, I stayed there just for convenient reasons. It was an easy walk from Legion Stadium. Didn't have to worry about hopping on a monorail, especially when it's getting packed with fans, people trying to, go and leave the stadium. I was able to just go right to the stadium from my hotel and back. So that was the main reason why I picked it. To be perfectly honest, I almost stayed at the MGM, almost, but I was like, you know what, Luxor is a little closer, and it was a little cheaper too, obviously. So that's why I picked up. And it's funny because obviously MGM Grand ended up being the WWE hotel, which I had no idea. I honestly assumed they're going to stay at the Fontainebleau again, but obviously they stayed at MGM this year, which a lot of issues happened. As you look up WWE and MGM, I'm pretty sure you can see multiple videos of wrestlers just being harassed and whatnot. And got to our hotel, we checked in, and then of course we went straight to pretty much dinner because we had a reservation at Hell's Kitchen, which we had a fantastic dinner. I had the lamb chops, which were just incredible. I will say though, a little too much sauce for my liking. The sauce is fantastic, but it's really rich. And when it's kind of like drenched in, the food's drenched in that sauce, after a while, to me, all I was tasting was the sauce. So it was just a little too rich, a little too much for my personal loving. But nonetheless, it was still great, absolutely phenomenal food. Could never complain about, anything made from Gordon Ramsay, especially we had Gordon Ramsay's burger later on Monday, and that was just, man, phenomenal burger. But that's for Monday. We'll talk about that a little bit later when we get to that. But yeah, we had dinner. Then after that, we actually went to the Superstore because, we were in that direction. We might as well just head all the way there to check things out and get the things I wanted to get. And I'll be completely honest with the Superstore this year. I went in there very excited, thinking I'm going to spend a lot of money. And I still did spend a lot of money, just not nearly as much as I thought I was going to. And I felt like the Superstore, could be completely honest, was very, very slim pickings. I felt like there wasn't much to choose from. There was a lot of space, but not a lot of things that filled that space, to be honest. And just, I don't know, the merch just wasn't really good looking. I feel like I said, there wasn't a lot of merch for a lot of people at all, really. I don't think there's any Drew merch. Maybe I think there was maybe one Tiffany Stratton shirt. It was just very, very bare, and I was very disappointed in terms of the availability of the stuff that was there and the options and stuff you can choose from. And even because I mainly try to gun for the WrestleMania exclusive stuff, even that I felt like a lot of it was just piss poor and not really impressive, to the point where literally I was walking around, I'm like, this is everything? I was just trying to find stuff to grab because I wanted to buy stuff. I'm like, man, there's just nothing here to buy for me. So I just felt like the Superstore itself was very underwhelming and disappointing, especially compared to last year. I feel like last year had a wide more variety of stuff to choose from, and maybe they blew all their Vegas ideas from last year and couldn't implement it this year, or maybe they just didn't want to make as much stuff this year. But in terms of selection at the WrestleMania Superstore, I'll be completely honest, I thought it was very disappointing and very underwhelming. So with that being said, obviously I did spend my money on merch there. I'm just gonna go ahead and show everything I got. for the weekend, because there were some stuff I ended up getting like later on once I went back to the store for another visit and whatnot. So instead of just being like, oh, this stuff I got now and I'll show stuff later, I'll just show it all in one haul, so we don't have to worry about that. And I do have 2 bags worth of stuff right here, so let's just go ahead and go over everything. The first item is always a must. It is the official WrestleMania program. You pretty much just basic program, got all the matches. You got Big Match John right there, and then, you know, got some pictures of WrestleMania. Come on, there we go. There's some match card photos, has all the matches on here, obviously. Then once you go deeper in, you got photos of past WrestleMania events, and then, you know, you got the Hall of Fame section in the back with the, you know, the Hall of Fame class for that year. So yeah, WrestleMania program, absolute must. And speaking of must, of course, got the WrestleMania Cup right here. You got pretty much your big main event matches, and, you know, that's pretty much it on the cup. I do like how it has the WrestleMania Vegas, and then on the other side it has WrestleMania 42. I know it's a little thing like the WrestleMania 42, but I don't know. I appreciate the fact that they put the number of it and not just the year of it. So, yeah, always got to grab WrestleMania Cup. And, of course, the item that you have to grab to put in the cup that my good friend Ravi, Assault and Battery 777, started years and years and years ago. You got to get the WrestleMania bear. Really like the one this year. Of course, you have an Elvis-themed bear with the WrestleMania, or the WWE Championship. I almost said WrestleMania Championship, but the WWE Championship right there. You got WrestleMania in the back. So, yeah. Obviously, you got to grab that, and then, boom, there you go. And this next thing is actually one of my favorite things I bought the whole weekend. Of course, it is this WrestleMania 42 theme hat. Now, obviously, at first glance, it's a WrestleMania 9 logo hat, but if you actually look at it, it says WrestleMania Las Vegas, and it has all the years right there, 1993, 2025, and of course 2026 for this year on it right there. So that just made the hat for me. Of course, you have a 42 on the side right there, an old WWE logo. Got WWE logo on the inside, and of course, little, you know, yeah, front thing you can grab right there. So yeah, this hat definitely sold. They had a WrestleMania 9 theme hat last year. They almost bought it, it is on WWE Shop right now, which I might get eventually at some point. But I almost bought that, and I've been thinking about buying that hat. But as soon as I saw this one, I'm like, I definitely had to grab it. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite purchases, if not my favorite purchase of the weekend. And jumping into the shirts now, of course, I had to get the WrestleMania logo with the I was there on the back with the date and everything. Nothing too fancy about it. Just a very basic t-shirt. Like I said, there actually was a different I was there logo shirt, but I was just very iffy on design or not, so that's why I just mainly stuck to this one instead. So yeah, very basic shirt, not much to it. And following that shirt, we had the official host of WrestleMania this year, John Cena. His shirt right here. Very, very nice looking shirt. Got the logo on the back, and of course, you got the sleeves in Rise Above Hate. Out of the two, I know the other shirt was a Fear and Loathing style shirt, but I thought this one looked way better, in my opinion, and I really like the design, so definitely had to grab the latest John Cena shirt. Following that, we had the CM Punk versus Roman Reigns official shirt right here. I was actually, it's funny, because I went there looking for this shirt. This is one of the first shirts I was looking for, but I was expecting to be a completely different shirt, because the one they had on WWE Shop was an entirely different shirt than this. So I'm like, where is the Punk and Roman shirt? Like, I can't find it. And then eventually I stumbled across this. I was like, wait a minute, this is completely different than the one advertised. So I actually do like this shirt more, at least the front more. I think it looks better. However, I do think the back would benefit if it had the design from the other shirt on it. I think it'd just add a little bit more, but I do like it was on a white shirt. You know, it's different. Roman, Punk shirt. Definitely is a great looking one, and definitely was the best looking match card shirt of all of them. And speaking of match card, here's the official event shirt right here, which of course has your 2 world title matches from both the men and the women. Of course, at the bottom, hosted by John Cena right there. Nothing too fancy. Honestly, kind of looks like a bootleg shirt in a way, to be honest. But I do think the back does look good. I do like how, you know, it just says I was there with the dates and everything, but I do like how it was kind of creative, and that they just didn't throw just I was there like a plain font or whatever. They actually made it look like a crash and, you know, a theme for both nights in the back as well. So of course had to grab the event shirt. And these next 2 items were things I ended up grabbing later on. This first one was, you know, a shirt that I saw I wanted to get, but I just didn't grab it because of the price. But then I just went back and I'm grabbing it. It is the Shawn Michaels weekend t-shirt. Of course, it had Mr. WrestleMania right there with Shawn posing from the back. Really nice looking front. And then, of course, you got the back right there. The showstopper, the icon, the main event. Shawn Michaels signature. Tell me what that looks like. Matt Cardona, thanks for pointing that out. If you know, you know. But yeah, definitely when I saw it, had to get it. You know, I'm glad I did too, because I think this is one of the shirts that sold out the quickest. So very glad I was able to grab when I did. And this, you know, probably either might be, in terms of shirts, definitely my my favorite purchase. But yeah, one of my also favorite purchases of the weekend definitely was this shirt. And of course, last but not least, I got this CM Punk sweater right here. And then the back, best in the world. Very comfortable and very nice sweater. Audrey actually got this for me on Sunday because she got the AJ Lee pullover, and then I was originally gonna buy this, but I was like, I was very iffy on it. Then she ended up surprising me and getting it for me anyway. So I was very appreciative of that and love her for that. And yeah, this is very comfortable. This is a great material, and definitely more excited to wear this, you know, during the fall winter time. I know we're just spring just started and we still have summer, but this is definitely going to be a great wear towards the end of the year. And one final thing, actually, it was because it's not really from the Superstore, it's more from the Funko booth, but I figured I might as well show with the merch. Of course, I did my own pop figure with the WrestleMania Vegas pop box. Honestly, the box is more of the reason why I did it. I don't know if you guys can see, but I do have a WrestleMania t-shirt on, and of course with the WWE microphone and a computer with me, because I was just trying to figure out something else to put with my character, and that was pretty much the only thing available that I would have chose from. So yeah, I thought that I'd go ahead and show it. Really like it. And Audrey, of course, made one of herself as well. And yeah, just thought I'd go ahead and show it with the rest of my haul. And that was everything I got at the WrestleMania Superstore, as well as a Funko booth at the WWE World. Tons of merch. Like I said, I thought I'd get more, but they didn't really have much. One thing I did order on WWE Shop, because it was at the Superstore, but I didn't know how to get it back to my home, was the WrestleMania 42 poster with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. They just had it, you know, in the regular size I had in WWE Shop, and they had it in like the poster, like not frame, but like the little hard cover, like sleeve, like that one is behind me right there. They had it in that, and I just was trying to figure out, I'm like, well, how do I take this home? I don't really want to carry it on the plane, and I don't want to like roll it up or anything like that. So I just figured I'd just order one off WWE Shop, since it's the exact same poster size and everything. So I do have it coming at some point, so that'll be here when it's here. But yeah, that's everything I did get at the Superstore, like I said, as well as, you know, anything wrestling related merchandise in Vegas. And after we got our haul at the Superstore on Thursday, we pretty much went back to the room and relaxed for the night, because, you know, it wasn't late, but like it was, you know, we wanted to relax from traveling all day, and we just, you know, ate and we got our stuff, so we just kind of want to call it a night and save our energy for Friday. And then once Friday came around, of course, we had our first WWE World session of the weekend, and we had 3 people total to meet, and, you know, well, 2 people from me and 2 people for her. Well, we shared one person, and we each separately met someone else. So we had 3 people to meet total that weekend, and we went to WWE World, and we got in line to meet the first person, which was none other than AJ Lee. And I'll say this: if you watched my video last year, I had an absolute rant on how they handled tickets for, you know, the meet and greets at WWE World. Pretty much, I trashed them. I will say this: the experience this year was night and day difference. I had no problem getting all the VIPs on the meet. I got them all in the pre-sale. Pre-sale is the way to go. All you had to do is buy a WWE World ticket for any day, and you were able to get access to it. I did that, and I got everyone immediately. I had no issues whatsoever. So it was a very, very easy experience for me this year. So I got AJ Lee very, very easily, and we were in line to meet her. And one thing I will say, there was a lot of disorganization, I will say, for the photo ops and everything this year. I feel like times are changing and outletting people know. People are changing days out, letting people know, and people are being late. It was just, it seemed like a whole mess, to be completely honest. And we got there, and I want to say AJ was like 15 to 20 minutes late from the scheduled time she was supposed to be at. So I don't know if it was a her thing or their thing. I don't know what was going on, but there was a lot of disorganization in terms of how the photo ops and everything were done. So is what it is. But like I said, we had to wait about 20 minutes or so for her to actually get there. But I will say, once we were going through the line of people, they were going through just like that. I know people will probably complain that they were being rushed and everything, but you know what? If you actually stood there and the wrestler talked to you for a few minutes, if the people, you know, like taking your photo weren't rude, they kind of just let it happen. At least that's what happened with us, I felt like. But I do understand there were some people that were just being rushed immediately. Like that actually happened in one of my photo ops, where it just seemed like it was immediate go, 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 go. No time to even say hi to the person, it seemed like. So I'll get to that one later on in the video. But yeah, this was about meeting AJ Lee. We only waited probably about I want to say 10 to 15 minutes once the line started going to meet her to get to for us to get to the front. So it was very, very quick, like I said. And then once we got to the front, we were able to meet AJ, who was very, very sweet. She was very, very nice. Her and Audrey hit it off immediately. Yeah, it was a very quick but great experience being AJ. She was kind of like, we were going up, she was like, which side do you guys want to be on? Like, she was like, you know, going back and forth, not sure who's on what side, but we ended up taking her photo. And before anyone says anything, the reason why there's a gap between AJ and I is because I want to make sure the title was in the picture. So I don't want to be completely, you know, next to her covering it. I want to make sure it was in the photo. So I just want to make it clear, I wasn't just standing very, very off to the side for no reason. That was my idea behind it. But yeah, we got our picture with AJ. And it's funny, I felt like every photo op, looking back at it, I don't even remember looking at the camera. I feel like I was just looking straight ahead. So I'm glad I look fine in the photos at least. But yeah, we were able to meet AJ. Very, very happy experience. And, you know, we thought it went great. And Audrey was even able to give her one of her friendship bracelets that she made, matching ones for Punk as well, and she met her right after. So yeah, meeting AJ was a great experience. It was short, but she was very, very kind. She was very sweet for the short amount of time you were able to interact with her. And even to the point where the person behind us, when we were waiting for her photos to print out, she was like, he was even telling us like, yeah, AJ really liked you, like talking to Audrey, like she really enjoyed being with you for the short amount of time that, you know, we're up there. So yeah, that was a great experience. And after that, Audrey went to go meet her person that she was meeting, who was CM Punk. I know last year we met him, but he's our favorite wrestler, so I figured I'd get a photo op for her to meet him by herself, because I knew that would, you know, mean a lot to her. So I did that for her, and I was actually supposed to be meeting someone at the exact same time as well, but while we were there, I noticed that their photo time was changed from 10:30 to 12. So I was like, okay. I mean, it worked out because all of our photo ops in the morning were supposed to be at 10:30. All of them. The AJ, CM Punk, and the next person I was going to meet. But obviously my person's time had changed, and you know, she was able to get in the CM Punk line obviously before the end of photo ops, even though they made sure on the intercom, like final call, like whoever, they'll say like a million times before they end it. Yeah, Audrey went to beat CM Punk, and from what she told me, it was a great experience. I mean, I saw it from her face when she walked out from the curtain. She covered her face and everything until she absolutely adored it. And from what she told me, it was a great experience. You know, they had a small interaction. She gave him the other friendship bracelet that she made, matching ones for AJ, and Punk straight up was like, throw it on me, so she was able to put it on him herself. Just an overall great experience she had meeting him. I'm happy she was able to get that experience. So doing that photo op for her 100% was worth it in my opinion. So she was able to meet CM Punk, and after that we kind of just walked around for a while because my photo op got moved to 12, and I want to say by the time we were done getting the AJ and CM Punk photo op, it was probably like maybe 11:30ish. So I only had to wait a little bit because you're able to line up 15 minutes prior to your time. So we walked around. I took pictures at, you know, the LGN booth they had for the you know, LGN figures they do nowadays again. We kind of just watched the matches for a little bit, and you kind of just saw what WWE World had to offer. And I will say this about WWE World: huge step up compared to last year. Last year, it seemed like there's absolutely nothing to do. This year, I will say it seemed more like an access session. There were multiple booths. There were things you can pretty much do. There's a lot of room, but you know, a lot of it was covered. Where compared to last year, there was a lot of just empty space. Where this year, they definitely had a lot more to offer. So I will say that it was a step in the right direction in terms of, you know, the interaction at WWE World. So we did that, and eventually it was my time to go to my next photo op, which was for Mickie James. Now, it's funny because I've said this prior, and it's actually, if you go back and watch some of my old videos, I used to have a poster in my room, and I'd point it out and, you know, talk about it. But Mickie James was my first wrestling crush when I was a kid. I know a lot of people is Trish, maybe even like, you know, Sable for some people. You know, it is what it is. But Mickie James was always my first like official crush, you know, when I really got into wrestling as a kid. So I was always wanted to meet her, but, you know, never came to. And once I saw that she had a photo op for WWE World, I was like, you know what? Why not? Why not do it? So ended up getting a photo op for her, and got in line, got to meet her, and very, very sweet, very wonderful woman. I was able to, went up to her and immediately told her, like, you know, hey, you were my first wrestling crush. I know a lot of people say Trish, but you were mine. And she's like, oh, you're the second person in a row now to say this. And it was funny because she was recording the interaction, or I don't know if she's in a poster or anything like that, but she was recording, you know, the meet and greet. And as I told that to her, she like pointed out the camera, like, hey, Trish, you know, hey, you hear that? That's two people in a row now. And we took our photo, and then she started talking more to me, and we kind of talked a little bit, and then, you know, she tried to point the camera, and she's like, oh, tell it to the camera that, you know, that what you said, and I pretty much told her, hey, sorry, Trish, no disrespect to you, but Mickie was my first crush, even though you guys were feuding when I first saw her, but yeah. And in a way, I kind of buried Trish. I didn't like bury her, but I kind of just put her down to the point where like Mickie like had to cover her face, like, oh shit. So I thought that was funny. Great little experience meeting her. Definitely was worth it. Not sure if that footage will see the light of day or anything like that, because I haven't seen her post anything regarding that, but I thought that was a funny little experience to add onto the side. That was a meet and greet experience. Meeting Mickie James was fantastic. And that was pretty much it for our Friday in terms of wrestling related stuff. We didn't do anything wrestling related after that. I didn't go to SmackDown just because I just didn't feel like it. You know, it's the way SmackDown's been over pretty much all year. I just didn't feel any desire to want to go to SmackDown, honestly. So skip that. So, but yeah, that was an early cut to the wrestling portion, because I want to say it was probably like 12:30ish by the time we left WWE World that morning. So, and we just pretty much had the rest of the day to do whatever we wanted. So yeah, that was Friday. And then of course we go into Saturday, which was more so of a me morning, because originally I was actually supposed to go to a Saturday morning session to meet Gunther. Gunther originally was scheduled for Saturday for WWE World, but then about a week, 2 weeks before, I got an email saying that Gunther was no longer appearing at Saturday and appearing on Sunday. So I was like, oh great, now I have a Saturday ticket for no reason, because they changed him. Little did I know that Saturday ticket was going to go to you still, because like I explained earlier in the video on the Hall portion for when I went to Raw, that I got a John Cena ticket. I got a ticket to meet John Cena, so I got a ticket to meet him. That was my Saturday morning session, was meeting John Cena. So yeah, went there in the morning. Of course, the monorail that I took to the convention center wanted to stay at each stop for like 5 minutes, which usually it's like 30 seconds, but for some reason it literally took like 5 minutes at each stop. It was very irritating to me, because I was being very impatient that morning. But yeah, went there. They had a completely different section for Cena, for his autograph, or not autograph, for the photos. They had to go up to the second level to meet him. They had his own little private room, and yeah, the line went through very quickly. I want to say I waited maybe like 30 minutes to meet him. Actually, I was spot on at the time, because I told, once I got there, I was texting Audrey, I would probably meet him between 10:15ish, and I think it was almost exactly 10:15 when I met him, so I was almost spot on with the timing of meeting him. But yeah, went through his line, went up to meet him. It was very quick process. I was, when I was hitting that corner, to once you finally get to like see him where you're at in line, it was like it was hitting me. I was like, oh man, here we go. I'm meeting the man that I grew up watching, WWE with. And yeah, once it got to my turn, I was very nervous, and went up to him, immediately shook his hand. He greeted me. It was nice to meet me. Asked my name. I told him I was Zach. Honored to meet you. Took the photo real quick, and turned around, thanked him again, and left. Yeah, very short interaction. Not much to it. Some of it was on me, because I did want to say some stuff, but I just got nervous, and I was just like, I just wanted to go. I actually, this may sound a little ridiculous, but I even wanted to ask them for a hug, just because that's how much he meant to me growing up. But I didn't end up doing that, obviously. But very short interaction. Like I said, greeting, pose for the photo, and then like thank you, bye, and moved on. So very fast experience meeting John Cena, but definitely 100% worth it. Very happy I was able to meet him. And definitely was worth it. Like I said, I feel like I'm rambling on now, because I'm just reminiscing back in that moment. It's making me feel happy again. So yeah, awesome meeting John Cena, even though it was, a quick 10-second experience, if that. Then after I met Cena, I went back into WWE World and went to the Superstore, where I got some more extra stuff, got some stuff for my niece. And after that, left the convention center to go get some donuts. And I will say, I went on a journey to get some donuts, and it was absolutely worth it. The donuts I got, Pink Box, were absolutely fantastic, so really enjoyed that. And then, yeah, went back to the room. It was still early on. I want to say by the time I actually got back, I want to say it was maybe afternoonish, maybe 11:30ish. Not exactly too sure on the time period, but I want to say I got back, around early afternoon, and pretty much just relaxed until WrestleMania started, because obviously WrestleMania had an early start time of 3 o'clock Pacific, which was just insane to me. I don't know why they're starting shows at 3 o'clock. Not even Backlash, I was surprised it's starting at 3 o'clock, but yeah, with that being said, I think doors opened at 12:30 for the show, because, the show started at 2:30 technically. So yeah, we got to Legion Stadium. Very easy walk, very easy breeze to get in. Even getting through, like, getting through security and getting your ticket stand, we probably didn't wait that long to get in at all. We got in very, very easily. Went to our seats. You know, of course, they had the whole countdown show going on with DJ, whatever the fuck his name is, Valentino Khan or whatever. The dude just kept playing random mixes with wrestling songs and beats. I don't know. I felt like he played the exact same music too on Sunday. So it is what it is. We had that going on, and then we pretty much sat in our seats and waited. But yeah, we pretty much just sat in our seats and waited because we got there probably in our seats about 20-25 minutes before the show started. So we're like, might as well just sit and wait until the show starts, you know, and just enjoy it. And that's what we did. We had great seats for the show. I had the same section for night 2 as well. It was just a few sections further back. But yeah, absolutely loved the view, which actually I will say, even though there was a few more sections back, I felt like the slightly elevated more view for Sunday night was a better view than it was for Saturday night. But yeah, I really enjoyed our seats. Definitely was an upgrade from the seats I got last year because I got upper section for WrestleMania last year. So this is definitely a better experience viewing wise. But yeah, loved our seats. And then we pretty much waited for the show to start, which, you know, we had the opening video package, national anthem, and then of course opened up with John Cena coming out with, you know, completely different experience seeing John Cena coming out in a full suit, not running down, walking down to the ramp, even though he kind of jogged towards the end, just kind of taking his time with his entrance. It's definitely going to be getting something to get used to, seeing Cena presented like that instead of him being in his gear or whatnot, ready to go. So Cena comes out, pretty much welcomes everyone to WrestleMania, pyro goes off, and then go to our first opening match, which was the 6-man tag team match. LA Knight and the Usos taking on the Vision and IShowSpeed. This was a hot opener in terms of, like, the crowd was very invested into it. Now, I will say, I did watch a few clips. I haven't watched really much from anything from the airing, which I will say, I want to address one thing, actually, before I really dive into the show. I felt like the live experience versus the ESPN airing was completely a different experience. From everyone kept saying it was like ad after ad after ad. I mean, there were ads definitely being played throughout the show, but I felt like every match besides the opener got a video package. We saw the history for each match, and then there was like an ad. This is the same shit they did at WrestleMania 39, where they had the video package, and then they'd have an ad show where it just like completely kills the vibe. Because everyone's like hyped, like, oh, here we go, here we go. Oh, fuck you, ad. That was the vibe we got, but yeah, I felt like the ads that were shown were like max 30 seconds. I felt like they weren't really that long of ads. So I will say, like I said, I think the viewing experience live was completely different than how it aired. So I don't know. I felt like that was the biggest complaint, or the ads, and of course the time of the matches, which I will say I didn't like how short a lot of the matches were. That was a complaint as well for me personally, but I feel like in terms of like the overall show, I feel like it gets overhated for those two reasons, which I understand. But I just think it's overhated, though, still. That's just my personal opinion. In terms of live experience, I'll give my overall thoughts about it, obviously, after I go through the entire show. But I just want to point that out, that I felt like being there live was like, it seemed like an entirely different experience from what people are watching, you know, from what I was reading. So that's just my opinion on that. But yeah, going back into the opening 6-man tag team match, I felt like the crowd was very, very hot for the match. And it was a fun opener. I thought it was, you know, enjoyable for what it was. Not much to it. IShowSpeed, his stuff was entertaining, you know, doing like the scoop slam, you know, doing Hurricane and Jimmy Uso. Obviously, Dissension with Speed and the Vision ended up playing towards the end where, you know, LA Knight ended up throwing Speed into Logan Paul, which knocked Logan Paul down, and then, you know, Theory and Speed were kind of going back and forth, which led to LA Knight hitting the blunt force trauma on Theory for the 1-2-3. So LA Knight and the Usos get the victory. A very short match, but it definitely was enjoyable. The crowd was very hot, invested into it. And then, of course, they had the whole post-match thing where Logan Paul was getting Speed's face, was beating Speed down, was trying to put him through the table, but then LA Knight and the Usos helped Speed out. Usos hit the 1D on Logan Paul, which I don't know who fucked up the timing, if it was the Usos or Logan Paul jumped too high, but they didn't fully connect with the 1D at all on Logan Paul, but then set him out the table, which led to Speed hitting the splash through the table on Logan Paul, which was a great spot. Obviously, they replayed it like 25 times on the screen, but yeah, that was a cool little moment for Speed. And he definitely, like I said, he looked good in the match. I thought he had good performance for the very little he did. But it was enjoyable. 6-man tag to open the show. The crowd was hot, like I said. And it was a good match. Short, but good. And following that, we had the unsanctioned match between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. As the match was going, Audrey actually went to the concession stand to get some food, and she actually brought me back an Oos juice. Of course, got Jey Uso on the juice right there. We call it Oos Juice. Obviously, if you've seen the commercial, you might get the reference with Cody, give him the juice. But yeah, thought I'd go ahead and point that out because I guess I kind of count that as, I guess, merch in a way. So I got that. And the match itself, though, between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, I thought it was a great match. I really enjoyed it. You know, they brought tables, they brought the toolbox. I built a spot with Drew, you know, recording the video of him beating down Jacob Fatu and hitting him with even the phone, where you can see in the video he posted, you know, the phone going crazy. And back in the ring, you know, I thought they did some good stuff. You know, Jacob Fatu countering a lot of stuff from Drew, table getting involved, and overall, I thought it was a great match. You know, I felt like they could have done more in terms of the violence, I guess, because you can definitely tell I don't know, when you're unsanctioned, I guess I expected a little more brutality, I guess, from these two. Not saying they didn't do anything brutal, but I guess I don't know, I expect a little bit more, I guess, in a way. Chairs got introduced, you know, Drew suplexed Jacob on some chairs. So yeah, you did get some good spots. I'm not complaining with the match whatsoever. I still really enjoyed it. I don't know, I guess I just wanted a little bit more for selfish reasons, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, really good stuff. Jacob Fatu ended up getting the victory once he nailed Drew McIntyre with the toolbox, set him on the table, ended up hitting the moonsault for the 1-2-3 on Drew McIntyre. So Jacob Fatu, it's a huge win over Drew McIntyre. Expected it. I definitely think Jacob needed a big win, and definitely, you know, cemented a big win, which, I mean, after what happened on Raw, we can see why you get the win over Drew here. But yeah, great match. Like I said, I think I just expect a little bit more, but it was still great nonetheless. And next we had the Fatal 4 match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. The Irresistible Forces taking on Lyra, Vaquer, and Bayley, taking on Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and originally supposed to be taking on the Bella Twins, but once they came out, Nikki obviously still had her boot on, and she had a mic in hand, and there were a lot of rumors the day before, and definitely paid off because Nikki said, even though I'm not able to compete, I called in a favor for a friend to help Brie, and that ended up being none other than Paige. Paige makes her return to WWE. I'm not going to be a fake fan and act like I'm all excited. I'll be completely honest, I didn't really care. I wasn't a fan of her run in AEW. I actually thought her run there was horrendous. So to me, she has a lot to prove. But, you know, I'm not going to hate. I'm not going to sit there and rate on her parade. You know, I'll say this, she definitely had a good performance for the little she did in the match. I definitely thought she looked good. So I'm not going to entirely hate on her, but I don't know. It's one of those things where I'll have to wait and see how things go before I can really sit there and be like, okay, I can get behind this Paige run, because like I said, her AEW stuff I thought was horrible. So I wasn't too excited to see her, but, you know, I wasn't going to be mad about it at the same time either. I was kind of surprised, because I really didn't think they would really clear her. So seeing her back was definitely surprising. And in terms of the match itself, it was a good match. I thought all four teams worked well, which they did implement the rule where all four people, or, you know, competitors from one person from each team, could have been in the ring at one time, not just, you know, two people, then you can tag whoever. I think when you do multi-team matches, it should always be implemented like that. Even if it's a triple threat, four-way, it should always be, you know, like if it was a singles, triple threat, or fatal four-way. Everybody in the ring at one time, not just, you know, two people and then you tag whoever. I don't like that rule in my opinion, but the match was good. Everyone got their stuff in. I thought at one point each team was able to get their stuff in and make themselves look good as a team. They were able to showcase themselves pretty well. Paige, of course, got a huge hot tag, went roughshod on everybody, hit the Paige Turner on Lyra for a near fall before Bayley broke it up. There's a whole bunch of chaos ensued at the outside. At one point, it looked like you know, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte were going to close in on the tag titles, but then Nikki ended up taking out Charlotte and beating Charlotte up with a crutch to take her out. Alexa Bliss went for a twisted Bliss, but then Paige had her knees up, and then ended up lifting up Alexa Bliss for the Rampage for the 1-2-3. So Paige and Brie Bella are your brand new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I thought it was very apparent that they're going to win as soon as Paige came back, but I will say, I do think they should have waited for Nikki Bella to be cleared to give the Bella Twins the tag titles, because you know, what's going to happen when Nikki's cleared? Are they just going to be like, yo, Paige, give me the tag title? Or are they going to lose them, and then the Bella Twins are going to go after tag titles by themselves? I don't know, but I do think, I do agree with people that, you know, Brie Bella winning the tag title should have been with her sister for the first time, not with Paige. So I think, you know, they could have put it on someone else and waited for Nikki to be cleared to put the tag titles on the Bella Twins at that point. But that's just a little nitpick. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to rate on their moment. You know, it was still a good moment for Paige and Brie Bella to win the tag team titles. Like I said, good match. It was just very, very short, you know, which was a very fitting theme for all the matches. It seemed like for this night was short. So, and following that, we had AJ Lee defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. I will say, I thought it was very obvious from the get-go that the performance from the Wonder Years was lip-synced, because I remember watching it and hearing, I'm like, this does not sound like a live performance at all. And then like seeing the screen, I'm like, yeah, he's not singing the lyrics at all. So why do a live performance if you're not going to do a live performance? I don't know. It was a cool concept and idea. It just didn't look all that great at the end, you know, in my personal opinion. So that was Becky's entrance, and then of course AJ coming out with her entrance. That was great as well, with all the little girls, which was funny. You can actually see one of them running to the back. I don't know if she got scared, intimidated, nervous, what happened, but you can see one of them run back to the back when AJ came out for the entrance. So yeah, great entrances from both of them nonetheless, and the match itself was good. You know, not much to it. It was very basic. You know, a lot of holds. AJ, you know, putting her into the Black Widow, and you know, Becky fighting out of it. The referee, of course, came to play where Becky took off the turnbuckle, and then the referee was trying to put it back together, but then, you know, Becky took it off again. And then as AJ was charging her, she actually pulled the referee in front, and then, you know, AJ ended up hitting the referee. And then as, you know, the referee was kind of recovering, Becky threw AJ into the turnbuckle, hit the manhandle slam, 1, 2, 3. Becky Lynch defeats AJ Lee to become the brand new Women's Intercontinental Champion. It was a good match. It was just short. You know, I just feel like they really didn't get that much in for, you know, what they could have done. But it is what it is. You know, it was still an enjoyable match. It was cool seeing AJ hit the, you know, manhandle slam herself for a nice near fall. But yeah, it was just not really much to say about it, unfortunately. So Becky Lynch, your brand new Intercontinental Champion. Hopefully AJ isn't gone for months. And, you know, I know she did a whole thing where she's like, I don't know when I'll be back, if at all. So very, very curious to see how her schedule operates, because this is funny how Punk's there all the time, but she can't apparently. I don't know how that works. Don't know her deal. But yeah, Becky, 3-time Intercontinental Champion now. Hopefully she can, you know, elevate it some more and get some more fresh faces to go against her. So yeah, good match. Just, again, same theme as every other match, just too short. And following that match we had, which I thought was match of the night, Seth Rollins taking on Gunther. Yeah, great match right from the get-go, right from the bell, before the bell even rang. You know, drop kick by Gunther. These two are just going at each other's throats. Brawling the outside, get in the ring. The bell rings. Looks like they're going for a quick quick finish with a power bomb, but Rollins kicks out. So yeah, these two just going 100 miles per hour, and everything seems so smooth. The transitions or counters, everything was just seamless and great. You know, Rollins getting out of the sleeper hold, and, you know, every time Gunther trying to apply it, getting a huge pop, because, you know, it's been taught that, hey, anybody can go out to Gunther's sleeper hold. So of course that was being the build up for the entire match. Was that fought to the outside for a good little while, back in the ring. Gunther gets hit with the pedigree, which I will say, Gunther kind of takes a pedigree like Kane did, which isn't a compliment. That's actually kind of a bad thing, but it is what it is. I'm not going to hate on him. Match went back to the outside where Gunther hit a pop-up power bomb to the table, tried to hit a full-up power bomb, but Rollins countered out of it, ended up hitting a pedigree on the announce table onto Gunther, going back to the ring. Just a lot of great stuff from these two, and like I said, easily match of the night for Saturday in my opinion. Just like I said, great match, 100 miles per hour. They did slow it down, but it was a build back up for those big spots again. So Gunther, Rollins, absolutely loved the match. And finish, though, was kind of like weird to me, because I forgot what happened, but Gunther goes to the outside, and I don't know if maybe I just didn't see it, or maybe it didn't play off that well, but out of the blue, here comes Braun Breaker, hits a huge spear on Seth Rollins, and everyone's first, like, instinct is like, how did the referee not see that? I felt like the referee was facing Rollins when it happened. Maybe I'm just misremembering it, but I'm like, I just remember being like, how did the referee not see this happen? How did he not see this happen? But Braun Breaker hits a spear on Rollins, throws him in the ring. Gunther locks in the sleeper hold. Seth Rollins passes out, and that's it. Gunther defeats Seth Rollins, which definitely was the right decision in my opinion. Gunther definitely should have beat Rollins. It was definitely the right call in my eyes, and definitely doesn't hurt Rollins by any means. And, you know, yeah, Braun Breaker across Rollins, and then, of course, back on top of the stage, Breaker comes running down 100 miles per hour for a huge spear on Rollins, and kind of misses. It was kind of just, I don't know if it was the way Seth sold it too, or what, but it just, he ran very quick, and just the payoff wasn't all that great, in my opinion. So Braun Breaker spears Seth Rollins for a second time, and meets Heyman back up on the ramp. They embrace, and that was that. So yeah, like I said, Rollins, Gunther, easily match of the night, in my opinion. Great stuff. Really enjoyed that. And after that, we had the showcase of the Hall of Fame inductees for the class of 2026. Of course, all of them lining up with AJ and Stephanie, of course, coming out at the very end. Just a very basic showcase where they just showed everybody that went in that year. So not much to it, but I just thought it was funny that they, of course, made Stephanie come out last instead of AJ. Little thing, little stuff like that. So it is what it is. But yeah, of course, congratulations to everyone that went to the Hall of Fame this year. And then we go to the Women's World Championship match. Stephanie Vaquer defending against Liv Morgan. I gotta say, man, I'm sorry, but Trouble, that song's gotta go. I will say the Trouble, it's catchy. I'll give it that. But the song itself, it's not good. I'm sorry. It's just not good in my opinion. But yeah, Liv Morgan, Stephanie Vaquer. This was a match when it was first like apparent it was happening. I was like, okay, I don't really have much interest in it, but it needs to be a really good match in my opinion. They definitely need to deliver. And I felt like they did deliver for the very little time they had. This was like a 7-8 minute match. It was very, very short. You know, they went right, you know, they pretty much were hitting all their big stuff right from the get-go just to get all their stuff in. You know, Valkyria ended up doing the Devil's Kiss, which she hadn't done in a while, or, you know, it's been prevented from her for doing for a while, and she was actually able to do it. Stephanie Valkyria actually was hitting like all of her secondary finishes as well, like the double underhook into the backbreaker, and like the double, you know, underhook into like the face buster. Like she was just hitting, you know, all of her secondary stuff. Hell, she even hit Obliviation on Liv at one point in the match as well. So they were just getting everything in at once. But of course, you had Roxanne and Raquel getting involved. Stephanie Vaquer taking her out on the outside. But once she got back in, she got hit, and then, you know, Liv Morgan ended up capitalizing. Ended up hitting Obliviation on Stephanie Vaquer for 1, 2, 3, and Liv Morgan is your brand new Women's World Champion. It was a good, solid match. It was just like the theme of the night. It was too short. It was too short. They didn't get the full amount of time they should have gotten. It should have been double the amount of time. It honestly should have been at least a 15-minute match. But like I said, they got like 7 or 8. So for the very little time they got, I thought they were able to get it a good amount of stuff. But like I said, it was just more like they were just trying to hit everything they could right from the get-go just to get everything in. So is what it is. And of course, afterwards, Judgment Day celebrates with Liv Morgan. And yeah. And we once again have John Cena coming out. He announces the attendance for the show, which was like 50,000 something and change, which led to Bianca Belair coming out. Huge surprise there. And she coming out, and the moment we saw her with like what she was wearing, Audrey was like, oh, she's pregnant. She's pregnant. And I'm like, watching her, I'm like, she's definitely covering her front for a reason. And yeah, that ended up being the case. Bianca Belair announces she's pregnant, which is fantastic news for her and Montez Ford. Congratulations to them. You know, Bianca's been out since, I believe, WrestleMania last year. I think that was the last time she wrestled. So it's going to be a little bit longer now. If people thought that year plus wait, you know, was long, well, we got to wait a little bit longer. And, you know, hopefully everything ends up being happy and healthy with the baby and everything. And once again, congratulations to her and Montez. And, yeah, hopefully at some point in the future, we can see Bianca back in the ring. But if we never do, I do think she went off on a great note. So, yeah, congratulations to them. And following that, we go to the main event for WrestleMania Saturday, which was for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes defending against Randy Orton. Pat McAfee coming out. Everyone hated him. He had a long entrance for no reason. Orton comes out. Orton, by the way, everyone wanted Orton to win. I think majority of that fucking place was 100% behind Orton. And then Cody Rhodes, great entrance, by the way. Loved all the showcase, like his old gimmicks. They should have included the dashing gimmick. Don't know why they didn't. But definitely should have included that in this little showcase. But definitely it was a great to see the evolution of Cody Rhodes. And yeah, before the match even starts, you know, Pat McAfee and Randy Orton try to attack Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes fights back. He's able to put Pat McAfee on the announce table. And then Jelly Roll out of nowhere splashes Pat McAfee through the table. So him and McAfee, you know, him being Jelly Roll, both no longer in the equation. They're out of there. Thank goodness. I think everyone's huge concern about that they're going to be heavily involved towards the end, but they weren't. They got their stuff in at the very beginning, and they got the F out. Well, McAfee obviously comes back later, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah, Orton, Cody Rhodes, one-on-one without anybody around. And I gotta say, overall, I thought this was a very good main event. I know a lot of people didn't like the match. I think mainly so because of the finish. I don't really care. I'm not going to let an entire match be affected just because of a finish. I thought the storytelling in this match was great. I love the way Cody was working on Orton, you know, using Orton's own moves against him, you know, working as a heel. I thought, you know, that's what Cody needed to do. You know, he wasn't able to show that aggression. He wasn't able to pull the trigger and that killer instinct last year against John Cena. But this year, he was able to showcase against Randy Orton, which I thought was told a great story. Orton's selling was fantastic, which half the time you can never tell if he's just selling, if he's actually injured with Orton. So I thought he was working fantastic with his selling. And overall, I thought these two just went there and had a fantastic main event. I really enjoyed it. It did kind of get slower towards the end, but that, towards the end is picking back up with the huge spots. Cody getting a crossroads for a near count, Cody going for the Cody cutter, and then, Orton ended up hitting him with an RKO instead for a 2 count. I just thought the ending was built up very, very well. And then very good, to the point where, Cody, being heelish, end up, poking Orton in the eye. Actually, at one point, he even low-blowed Orton, because Orton tried to low-blow him, but he ended up low-blowing Orton instead. Ended up picking Orton's eye, and when Orton was blinded, he actually ended up hitting Charles Robinson, the referee, with an RKO by accident, ended up dropping him, and then there's no referee. And then who comes running down referee t-shirt? None other than Pat McAfee. Why? I don't fucking know. Apparently, anyone can throw a referee shirt and just come running down to the referee, apparently. According to WWE logic here. So McAfee goes for the count. 1, 2, Cody kicks out. Orton's mad. RKO's Pat McAfee, which everyone's like, what for what? Which I can only assume. I was waiting to see if they explained it on SmackDown, but Orton wasn't even on SmackDown, so who knows if we'll ever get its explanation anytime soon. But I figured Orton RKO'd him because maybe he thought McAfee counted too slow. But yeah, he just RKO'd him out of the blue for no reason, apparently. But as he RKO'd him, Cody was up, hit crossroads on Randy Orton. At that point, Charles Robinson was fine again. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes retains the undisputed WWE Championship. I know a lot of people are mad. A lot of people want Randy Orton to win, but I think this match, Cody definitely should have won. He definitely needed a big-time win, in my opinion, especially considering what happened last year. I definitely thought Cody winning here was the right decision. And if anything, Orton could have beat him at the next pay-per-view or down the line. I wouldn't have cared, but I definitely think this night was definitely should have been Cody's win from the get-go. So I'm glad they had Cody win. Orton could always win, like I said, down the line. And then as Cody's celebrating, Orton takes the title from Cody, nails him with the title, beats him down, and ends up hitting the punt kick on Cody to end night 1. So yeah, Cody gets taken out by Randy, and the show ends with Orton holding the title, and that's the show. They take Cody out. Cody's fucked up. His eyes swollen shut. His fucking head's covered in blood. Cody's just an absolute mess. And I remember seeing that thinking like, man, I hope he's fine for tomorrow. I hope they don't cancel and be like, oh, because he's injured. Because I was actually supposed to be meeting Cody at WWE World on Sunday. Cody gets taken out, and then yeah, that was the show for night 1. And I gotta say, I thought it was a good show overall. I didn't think it was a mind-blowing show by any means. I think the main events and Seth Rollins and Gunther definitely were the matches I enjoyed the most. Everything was enjoyable. I thought everything was at least good. I don't think there was a single bad match on this show. The only bad thing about, really was just the timing of everything. Every match felt short. I think besides the Gunther Rollins match in the main event, I think every match was under 10 minutes, which to me is just ridiculous. We have a 4-hour show and you cut a bunch of matches just to ensure ads. That's ridiculous. So I can see why people didn't enjoy the show. I can see the too many ads complaint. I can see the time limit for the matches complaint. I understand that. With all that being considered, I still feel like the matches delivered for the time they got. Was a lot of it forgettable because of how short it was? Yeah, it's hard to really remember a lot of what happened, but I still think it was good for what it was. So I will say throughout all of night 1, there was not a bad match. Were there short matches? Absolutely. But I felt like none of the matches were bad in the slightest, in my opinion. So overall, I thought night 1 was a good show. Like I said, not a great show or anything like that, but I still enjoyed my time. I still enjoyed it, and I still thought it was a fun time. So I had a really good time at WrestleMania Saturday, and then afterwards we ended up leaving. They didn't have any WrestleMania Primes this year, which that was kind of funny. We were trying to look for them after the arena or outside the stadium, and we didn't see any. We ended up getting some of the Cody Rhodes ice cream. We didn't see any Primes, so I was surprised they didn't have that this year. But then Audrey pointed out that she has realized lately that they haven't had the Prime at the ringside at the shows anymore. I'm like, I really haven't noticed that until she pointed it out. So I don't know, maybe they're cutting down on that, but it is what it is. And then after that, we kind of just made our way through the crowd out of Allegiant Stadium and back towards our hotel to pretty much, wind down for a little bit. And as we were winding down, that comment earlier about, Cody Rhodes canceling on Sunday came to bite me in the ass, because as we were winding down, I get a notification saying that unfortunately, due to injuries sustained at WrestleMania, that Cody Rhodes will no longer be appearing at WWE World. And I was just absolutely just devastated because Cody Rhodes, I was looking forward to meeting him. You know, I had a not only just photo op, I did have an autograph as well. I was planning on getting him. I was gonna get him to sign this pop that Audrey got me, and I even got this gold Sharpie, this gold pen, paint pen for him to sign it. Got that from everything, but yeah, end up canceling because his injury sustained at WrestleMania. And I understand it. He was pretty fucked up looking at him, you know, especially on Raw and everything. But I was just like, man, it sucks, you know, because I was like I said, I was hyped up to meet him. I was even explaining him the story about, you know, how his bagman refused to give me a bag at the SmackDown in 2011 where he won his first Intercontinental title. I was explaining to him how he refused to give me one, and you know, I was gonna tell him that story, but it is what it is. Maybe at some point I can meet Cody Rhodes at some point, you know, because obviously it won't happen at next year's WrestleMania because I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. But it was just a bummer. I understood why he got canceled, but at the same time, it was just like it sucked because I was looking forward to meeting him a lot. So yeah, that was a heartbreaking way to end our Saturday, and that was pretty much it for wrestling related on Saturday. And then of course we move on to Sunday. And with Sunday, we continue on with WWE World in the morning once again, like we've done for the past 2 days already in a row. So let's go ahead and just finish it off strong on Sunday with another WWE World session, which, like I just said, I was supposed to be meeting Cody Rhodes that Sunday as well. But because he got moved from Saturday to Sunday, I was still going to Sunday regardless because I was meeting Gunther. So Gunther was the person I was meeting on Sunday. Went straight to his line, which, again, for my time, talking about, you know, how everything was disorganized. I got to Gunther's line where I was supposed to be, and he was like 25 minutes late. I was like, bro, again, not hating on the talent, you know, it is what it is, but it's just like, man, what's the point of all these set times if everything's being thrown off or changed or people are late or what's going on? I don't know, but it was just like, come on, man. It is what it is. It was what it was. But yeah, got in line for Gunther, finally got there because my session, I think my time was like 10:25. And I want to say he almost got there almost around 11. So I'm like, it was ridiculous, but it is what it is. And very, very quick meet and greet. Very, very quick. Like in terms of like literally, you probably got 5 seconds at most. It was ridiculous. Like by the time it was my turn, literally went up there. It was, hi, how's it going? Nice to meet you. I told him, hey, it's an honor to meet you. He kind of no-sold me. Took the picture and it was pretty much, all right, thank you, bye. Like very, very brief interaction. Not hating on him because I know from like clips I've seen in interviews, he's a very like to himself person and he'd rather just be that way. But I'll just say it just seemed like he did not want to be there. Let me just say it that way. That's not me speaking negatively on Gunther by any means. It was just a vibe. It was just like, I kind of got to do this meet and greet. Don't really want to, but I'm here for it type of deal. So that was that. My picture, I didn't know what to do, so that's why I threw a thumbs up. I was just like, I don't know how to pose. What do I do? And I was originally going to do, you know, the Imperium pose with the arms behind the back and everything. He put his arm around me for the photos. I was like, oh, well, I'd rather just, I don't know, thumbs up. So that's why I did that. But yeah, it was very, very brief experience meeting Gunther. Not really much to it, unfortunately. It is what it is because he is my current favorite wrestler. So I wish I would have gotten more of a better experience, but I'm not gonna complain. It was what it was. Like I said, I did met Gunther, and then we were walking around, just one kind of like final walk through because we were pretty much, that was gonna be our last session and being there, so I wanted to like embrace everything else left to offer. We made our Funko Pops at the Funko booth. We did that, and then we walked around because we had to wait 30 minutes for them to make them. And as we were doing that, as we're walking around, we see that because Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch had their own booths for their coffee ammo. And we noticed there was a crowd of people, and we're like, oh, I wonder if one of them's over there. And we went over there, and Becky Lynch was over there. And she, of course, was, you know, signing stuff and taking pictures. And we're like, you know, let's try and take a picture with her. And Audrey was able to get up there before I was because Becky was making sure, like, if she saw a woman or a kid, she made sure to tell people to move and let them come up first. And Audrey was one of those people. She was like, hey, come here, come up here, and made people get out of the way. Even complimented her, called her gorgeous or beautiful. I forgot what she told me exactly, but another compliment from someone else to her, which, you know, no lies detected here. And I took a picture with Becky, and then I waited like 5 minutes after she did before I was finally able to get up there and take a quick picture with her. So that was cool. We didn't expect that, which looking back now, I actually discovered that Becky did tweet that she was going to be there at a certain time. I never saw the tweet. I wasn't checking my Twitter at that time. So I had no idea. So that was a nice surprise to see that. And it's funny because it's like, oh yeah, the photo I just took with her was, you know, $100 photo that they wanted the other day for the professional photo ops. So yeah, that was cool. I mean, I've already met Becky. I met her back in 2019 at the Royal Rumble. So I've already had a picture there and everything, but it was cool to get an updated one, I suppose. And we also went to the Topps booth, which, you know, I will say this is one thing that irritated me. Straight lie on WWE World's website, because they said that there's going to be a photo op in the grill position, which that was like was like the major thing I wanted to do at WWE World was take a photo in grill position. And we went to the booth, which we thought was going to be that, and it was that. But it was a Topps booth, and it was BS where you had to download the app just to get in and everything. And bottom line is, it wasn't even a photo opportunity. Once you got in grill position, it was a card drawing situation, and you got a virtual card, and that was that. That was it. Complete, utter bullshit thing. I feel like I wasted my time downloading the app and waiting in that line, because we stood there for probably like 15-20 minutes to go through that. And I just want to take a photo inside a grill position. That wasn't even what it was. It was, you went in the grill position, but it was like a virtual drawing thing. So I felt totally, not scammed, because obviously I didn't pay anything, but I was like, man, I totally misled at least to do that. So that was like the one big bummer about WWE World, was that stupid Topps booth being the grill position, you know, instead of a photo op. But is what it is. You know, we did one final swoop in the Superstore, got final things and whatnot, and then went back to the room and prepared for WrestleMania Sunday later that day, or actually probably like a couple hours. And yeah, we went to Allegiant Stadium a little bit earlier, probably like a few more minutes earlier than we went on Saturday, because we want to make sure we got food before the show started this time. So we went there. We got our food, and I'll even show you, I actually kept it. It was a little box that our food came in. We got some nuggets and fries. You can actually see the ketchup stain on the box right there. But yeah, this came with like if fries or if you got chicken strips, this is what it came in. There actually was one that was like a bigger box, like a ring-shaped box with the WrestleMania logo on it, but that was like for like the bigger expensive items, like the big-ass burger they had for sale and like the tomahawk steak and whatnot. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to keep this, even though it's a weird thing to keep. Like, I'm never going to use it for anything, but I decided why not keep that since it came with our food. So we kept that, got our food, we got it all situated before the show started, and that, of course, led into WrestleMania Sunday, which I will say definitely is a far better night than night one, if you ask me. I felt like just things were hitting a little bit differently. The matches were better than the previous night, and the main event was just superb, fantastic main event. So WrestleMania Sunday definitely was a great show. Of course, we had, you know, kicking things off with the national anthem sang by Joe Jonas, which was hilarious because Audrey's a huge Jonas Brothers fan, so it was hilarious seeing Joe Jonas open up the show for us. And that, of course, led to John Cena coming out and pretty much just welcoming everybody to WrestleMania again, pretty much cutting the same promo he cut on Saturday night. Not much different to it besides him announcing that we were live on ESPN for the first time, which was just huge boos obviously for that. But yeah, not much to it, just welcoming everybody to WrestleMania, which then led to Brock Lesnar taking out Femi in the opening contest. This was great. This is exactly what we need to be. It was right from the get-go. You know, they both locked up and did the whole like power strength thing, which at one point, I mean, I liked it, but the other point's like, man, it's always funny to me when feuds are built up like they want to beat the shit out of each other and the match starts up with a lockup. I understand it was a test of strength lockup, but it's always funny to me how they're built up like, I'm going to beat the hell out of you, lockup, you know, type of deal. So they do that, you know, they kind of feel each other out where Oba's getting the upper hand, but then Brock gets the upper hand on Oba. They go on the outside where Brock throws Oba into the post. Back in the ring, Brock gets a bunch of German suplexes, you know, taking his ass to the suplex city. And then at one point, you know, Oba's able to break out of it, hits some running uppercuts to Brock in the corner. And then he once goes for a third one. Brock is able to pick him up for an F5, hits an F5, but Oba no-sells it, gets to his knees, hits Brock Lesnar with a huge choke slam, followed up by a pop-up powerbomb for the 1, 2, 3. Femi defeats Brock Lesnar in a very short match, in a very dominant match, and it was exactly everything it needed to be. Now, selfishly, do I wish they would have went 15, 20 minutes of them just beating the shit out of each other? Absolutely. But in terms of, like, you know, a storytelling aspect, this match is exactly what it needed to be, in my opinion. Oba looks absolutely phenomenal, taking down Brock, and Brock just, in my opinion, Brock's the best seller of all time. You can argue with me about that. Everything, if Brock wants to make sure somebody looks good, he makes them look phenomenal. And there's no different here. So Brock gets the victory, or Oba gets the victory over Brock Lesnar, clears the ring. And of course, afterwards, we get the whole situation where Brock takes off his gloves, takes off his boots, kisses the ring, throws the X to say it's not a shoot, and Brock seemingly retires. And my jaw was dropped. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I legitimately was not expecting that. I know the big rumor that Brock was going to retire at SummerSlam in Minneapolis, so I was expecting, if anything, he was going to be at SummerSlam. And he still could be. It's still very possible Brock could still end up wrestling one last match at SummerSlam. But just to see him do all that and for him to seemingly be done was very, very shocking. But he definitely looked great going out against Oba. I mean, he made Oba look great going out. So yeah, if this is for Brock, what a hell of a run it's been. That was definitely surreal seeing Brock seemingly hang him up after his match against Oba. But definitely was the right way to go out, in my opinion, if you ask me. So Brock Oba definitely was a hell of a way to kick off the show. Speaking about a hell of a match, next we had the six-pack challenge ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Penta defending against Rey Mysterio, JD McDonough, Rusev, Javon Evans, and of course Dragon Lee. This was a fantastic ladder match. I thought that at one point everybody in this match had their own point to showcase and, you know, looked good. Rey hitting a 619, Dragon Lee looked phenomenal. Javon Evans, of course, hitting some great cutters like the OG cutter he hit on Rusev to take Rusev out was great towards the end. Before Penta, you know, hit the Penta driver through a ladder to take Javon out. JD looked great as well. He had an awesome 6 Spanish fly into the ring from a ladder. Just a whole bunch of 6 spots, and everyone looked great. You know, Rusev looked like a complete monster that everybody at some point was trying to take out, but Rusev was just taking everybody out instead. So yeah, a lot of great stuff in this match. A lot of great spots as well. Penta just hitting the Mexican Destroyer through a bunch of ladders on a bunch of people. Just a lot of great stuff in this match, and it was an absolute car crash, and that's exactly what we want a multi-person ladder match to be, and that's what it was. And it was very, very enjoyable. But like I said, towards the end, you know, Javon hit the cutter on Rusev, was climbing the ladder. Penta was able to take advantage of that, hit the Mexican Destroyer through a ladder, climbs the ladder, retrieves the Intercontinental Championship, and Penta retains the Intercontinental title. Like I said, just fantastic stuff, really enjoyable. Everyone looked great, and it was a very fun match. And I will say, people pointed out that I guess Rusev, JD, and Dragon Lee all got jobber entrances. Very unfortunate. I thought it was cool for them to get their own entrance, and apparently it didn't make the TV cut. So it is what it is. Poor guys, but yeah, incredible ladder match nonetheless. Next, we had the United States Championship. Sami Zayn defending against Trick Williams. This was a good match. Just wasn't much to it. Sami was very aggressive. I will say there was a lot of urgency from Sami to wrap this match up quickly, to the point where he ended up hitting a Helluva Kick on Trick on the outside and try to get a count out victory. You know, Trick broke the count at 9, but Sami tried to, you know, he didn't care how he won. He just wanted to win. And he was working over Trick, you know, Lil Yachty trying to get involved. He even pulled down Sami Zayn. And then Trick Williams hit a trick shot for a 1-2 count. So that was good. But, you know, Sami Zayn was able to fight back. Sami Zayn hit the suplex in the corner, going for the Helluva Kick one more time. But Trick is able to counter into a trick shot. 1, 2, 3. Trick Williams is your brand new United States champion. It was good for what it was. It was just short. And but it was pretty much exactly what we need to be anyways. I think people just want to see Trick win. And that's exactly what happened. So yeah, good match to crown a new United States champion. And following that, we had the street fight, the Demon Finn Balor taking on Dominic Mysterio. Great entrances from both of them. Really like Dominic's entrance in particular. I thought his throne coming out and everything. I thought it was awesome. Always good to see the Demon. First time since WrestleMania 39 we've seen him. And you definitely tell, you know, Finn seems a little more rejuvenated this time around compared to last time. The match itself was good. It was very good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. You know, they introduced kendo sticks. They got, you know, tables, chairs, very basic weapons they use, so not really, you know, anything too extraordinary. But I thought it was an enjoyable match. You know, I thought it was good back and forth. Dominic got a little bit more offense, honestly, than I thought. I thought it'd kind of be more one-sided towards Demon, like, you know, whenever Dominic would get offense, I thought the Demon would kind of no-sell it, but we kind of got some selling from the Demon here, which is kind of surprising. You know, you got Dominic hitting a 619 when the Demon had the chair wrapped around its head, hit a splash for a near fall right there. But towards the end, Demon was able to fight back, ended up putting Dominic on a table, and pinning the coup de grace through the table for the 1, 2, 3. So Finn Balor defeats Dominic Mysterio and had a really good street fight. It was, you know, just above the 10-minute mark, so they didn't really get a lot of time for this, but I felt like for the time they got, it was really enjoyable, and yeah, it was a good match nonetheless. And then following that, we had the WWE Women's Championship being defended. Jade Cargill defending against Rhea Ripley. And I'll say right from the get-go, this is probably Jade Cargill's best WWE match ever. You know, I don't know about all time, because I know she had a handful of some solid matches in AEW, but this is easily her best match she's had. I thought this was a really good match. Rhea was able to, you know, ensure that Jade looked really good and smooth. Both women, I just thought they complemented each other very well in this match. I thought there's a lot of great near falls and transitions from both of them. You know, like Rhea transitioning out of the Jaded into, you know, the Riptide, and vice versa. You know, transitioning out of the Riptide into the Jaded. undefeated. Thought there was some really good stuff from both women in this match. And towards the end, B-Fab and Michin got involved, try to cause Rhea Ripley the match. That led to Io Sky coming out. Io coming out to take them both out. She was on the ropes, ended up doing a moonsault to take out both Michin and B-Fab as Jade tried to pump kick her off the ropes. But that led to Rhea Ripley hitting a big boot. Going for Riptide, Jade got out of it, ended up hitting a big boot on Rhea. Going for Jade, but Rhea just smoothly, beautifully counter-outed it into a Riptide. 1, 2, 3. Rhea Ripley is your brand new WWE Women's Champion. Like I said, I thought it was a really good match. Easily, like I said, Jade Cargill's best match. And, Rhea, they both look great. I thought it was a great match nonetheless. I think Rhea, being the champion on SmackDown is definitely a fresh paint of coat that it needs. I think, they definitely need to freshen some things up. And Rhea going over there as a champion definitely can lead to some fresh matchups. So, hopefully it's a good dominant reign from Rhea going forward on SmackDown. But yeah, like I said, really good match with Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. And then for the final time, we had John Cena coming out to announce the attendance for tonight's night, which I think was like 55,000 plus, which is 5,000 more apparent from the night before. So apparently 5,000 more people were interested on Sunday than Saturday. I'll make the rules. But yeah, he announced the attendance, which leads to The Miz and Kit Wilson to come out, pretty much saying how, WrestleMania needs The Miz and Miz needs his WrestleMania moment, even though I'm pretty sure being John Cena the main event of WrestleMania 27 was a WrestleMania moment, but is what it is. So Miz complains, which leads to Danhausen coming out, pretty much confronting John Cena, actually. He says he's out here for you, points to John Cena, gets in his face, says, hey, big fan, big fan. And then, Miz and Kit Wilson, complain. That leads to the midgets, Michael Cole's phrasing of it, not mine, attacking Kit Wilson and the Miz. They end up taking him out, low blow to Miz. They carry Miz out. Great stuff. And then, Danhausen disappears on John Cena, but doesn't really disappear. Does the whole botch exit and everything. You know how Danhausen is. Always entertaining. Very evil, very nice. You are cursed. But yeah, in terms of segment, I thought it was entertaining. I know people probably complained about it. I haven't seen people's reaction to it online, but I thought being there live was very entertaining. Even Cena acknowledged how great it was. He was even laughing, saying it was great. So very entertaining with the segment with Cena announcing the attendance, and then, Danhausen coming out. So yeah, that of course leads to our main event, as Cena put it. Really like the way they presented it too, with, going into the pillars with Roman and Punk on each side. Going into our main event, the World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk defending against Roman Reigns. Great entrance from both men. I was very happy that Roman brought back the head of the table theme. Definitely fits him more currently than the other version. And then, CM Punk coming out to AFI with this video package. Love the way his new entrance is, by the way. I like him coming out, the silence, and then doing his clobbering time, then his music hits. I thought that was a great presentation with Punk. So, yeah, he comes out, makes his entrance. Like I said, great entrance from both of them. Very excited. And both men go out there and put on a WrestleMania classic, in my opinion. Hell of a match, easily match of the weekend. This was an incredible main event. These two went out there and definitely delivered a better match even than I thought they were going to do. I really enjoyed it. I thought they both meshed very well. They brawled to the outside. They went to the crowd at one point. Well, okay, one nitpick I will say is still blows my mind. Roman Reigns, CM Punk's tied in the ropes. Roman Reigns takes steel steps, hits CM Punk in the face with the steel steps right in front of the referee. The referee doesn't say shit. Referee just allows it to happen. I understand they say that the rules go by the referee's discretion, but what's the point of implementing rules if at the end of the day it's the referee decides to follow them or not? Like, come on, let's at least let the referee not be looking or something. I don't know. That was the one nitpick I did have about the match, was that spot right there. But besides that, I thought it was an excellent match nonetheless. I thought there was a lot of great counters. Love the spots on the outside to the table. I love the spot of Punk hitting the GTS, and then, him taking his wrist tape off and throwing it, and the referee, as the referee was taking it out. Low blows Roman into a GTS for a great near fall. I thought for sure that was a match right there. Love the spot too where Roman, was able to put in the guillotine, and, they teased, Punk passing out a few times as well. I just thought both men meshed and worked an excellent main event. And like I said, it was awesome. I'd honestly say it was even better than the triple threat match from last year with Seth Rollins. That's how great this match was. This was fantastic. Really enjoyed this match. This is definitely the match I can't wait to watch back the most. Definitely very excited to watch this match back. But yeah, ending came with, CM Punk hitting the GTS, but, did spot, of course, where Roman ricochets off the ropes and falls back on the Punk shoulder, which I'll be honest, as being a little bit outdone at this point. I feel like almost everyone Punk's face has done that spot at this point. But they did that spot, but when Punk went for the GTS, he was just too tired. His body gave out. Roman goes in the corner, hits a huge spear on Punk. Punk tries to fight back, gets back to his feet. Roman hits the ropes, runs the ropes a few times, hits one more huge spear. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns is your brand new World Heavyweight Champion. Not a big fan of that decision, but it is what it is. If Roman's willing to be here and defend the title, at least consistently, it doesn't have to be at every pay-per-view or every show, but if he's just around consistently, I don't have any problems with it. But it's just funny. They introduced that world title because Roman wouldn't show up and defend the WWE title, but then here he is now, the world champion. It's just funny how it all comes full circle like that. This is the irony of it. It's hilarious in my opinion. But yeah, Roman Reigns defeats CM Punk. Absolute classic match in my opinion. Incredible stuff. Roman Reigns, new world champion. Is what it is. I'm not going to be that mad about it. It is, like I said, I'm at the point where like decisions like that don't even infuriate me. It might be like a whatever moment, but I'm not going to get mad over it. So Roman Reigns, new world champion. Classic main event match to end, which I thought was an excellent night 2, honestly. I thought WrestleMania Sunday was a great show. I thought everything was hitting on all cylinders. I thought, even though some of the matches might have been short still, I thought almost every match still was at least good, still I want to say almost every match was at least very good. That's how enjoyable the show was. So I definitely thought it was a step up from the first night, but yeah, it was a very great show. I had a lot of fun on WrestleMania Sunday. The main event was definitely spectacular. The opening match was Brock and Oba. For what it was great. Maybe it wasn't technically a great match, but it served its purpose and it was exactly what it needed to be in my opinion. So WrestleMania Sunday was a stellar show. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was great coming out of it. Yeah, that was pretty much Sunday afterwards. At the show once again. We left. Actually, I went through the Stadium store this time to get, last minute items this time. And we left after that and went back to the room and, did our own thing afterwards. And yeah, that was it for Sunday. Sunday closed off greatly. And then we go into Monday, which, of course, the only wrestling related thing we did on Monday was the Raw after Mania. Pretty much Monday we explored everywhere. Gordon Ramsay's burger, which I explained at the very beginning of the video, was excellent. That was probably one of, if not the best burger I've ever had in my life. So that was great. And we pretty much, looked around more in Vegas. And then, pretty much waited till it was Raw time and went to Raw. Won't go over the entire show, but I will say it was a very enjoyable show. It was definitely a good, strong Raw after Mania, in my opinion. We haven't had a blow-away Raw after Mania in a while, but in terms of the overall show, I thought it was very enjoyable. We got the debuts of Ethan Page, who had a really good match with Javon Evans, in my opinion. That was actually an awesome match. I really enjoyed that. Saw Ruka made her debut, taking on Liv Morgan, which is another really solid match right there. Even in defeat, it was solid stuff. We had Street Profits making their return. I thought for sure it was going to be the Usos. I think everyone thought the Usos were coming out, and the Street Profits them coming out instead. That was great. We set up a future program with Punk and Cody for the WWE title at some point. When, I don't know, but yeah, and then of course the ending of the show, the reunion of the Bloodline, Roman and the Usos once again coming back full circle. Jacob coming out and challenging him for a title match at Backlash. So obviously Jacob and Roman's gonna be Roman's first program for the title. So a lot of good stuff I felt like happened on Raw. Like you had some new noteworthy stuff as well. Like I said, a handful of debuts, returns, and of course the Bloodline at the end. I know some people aren't really too happy about it. It's gonna be like I'm gonna wait to see how it goes. I know a lot of people this reheat nachos, Bloodline lore. But I'm gonna see how this run goes before I make a judgment call on it, because even though I'm not too thrilled about it, I'm not against it. I popped for it. I was like, oh shit, the Bloodline's back. Like it popped me. But in terms of how it plays out, I just don't want it to be like, oh, Roman's got to rely on the Usos again. Especially when the whole thing right now is that Roman doesn't need anybody. But now they're going back to where Roman needs people again. I just hope they're kind of together, but not like, oh, we're going to interfere every time Roman has a match to ensure he's champion still. So I want to see how that goes before I can really make a judgment call on how I feel about it. But it definitely was a noteworthy way to end the Raw after Mania. And that was it. Pretty much after that, we, again, went back to the hotel, kind of wind down and relaxed and got some food, and kind of much was calm before the storm, because obviously on Tuesday, the next day, we went home. We flew back, not early in the morning. Is like, I want to say our flight was 11:45 was when our flight left. So we got there probably around like 10:30. Yeah, Tuesday pretty much was just go home. Nothing wrestling related outside of that. So yeah, that was pretty much it. And I'm pretty sure I showed everything. I talked about everything. If I'm missing anything, then that's on me. I tend to do that. I'll make a video, I'll record these things, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to talk about this, or I forgot to show this and whatnot. So it is what it is. If I forgot, that's on me. But overall, I had a hell of a time in Vegas this year. I thought it was a great time. I know people were complaining about don't go back to Vegas again, whatnot. It is what it is. Overall, I had a great time. I had a great time just in the city. You know, Vegas is a place where I want to go back again. I mean, I've been to Vegas probably like 5 times in my life at this point now. But it's just like, man, I want to like go there and just experience Vegas. Not go there for anything wrestling related. I just want to go there just to experience the town again. Because the last time I did that, I was 16, I think. And I'm 30 now. So it's, you know, 15 years ago that happened. So yeah, I want to go back there again and do more Vegas stuff. But I definitely had a great time this year, just as good as last year. And obviously not going to Saudi Arabia next year for SummerSlam or for WrestleMania. So who knows? Maybe SummerSlam is a possibility. I know that discussion between Audrey and I about possibly doing that. So who knows? But in terms of wrestling related trips, this might be the last one for the time being, for if not for a good little while. And I believe that's it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like below. And of course, until next time, I'll see you guys, and thank you guys for watching the video.